here on fasting, and specifically we want to talk about dry fast, and we are comparing dry fast and autonomy. This is just an open discussion from dry fast group and weekly fasting group. Eric will not be with us here today. He said he gave his apologies.
Okay.
And Eric Rosani said he's somewhere with family. So we'll just be ourselves here. And the members who will want to join can just join later. And then now the question comes in: what is dry fast? What is autonomy? What is the difference between these two? They're very close to one another. The concept of dry fast is found in autonomy, but autonomy somehow is a little different, because with the dry fast, like the medical dry fast of Dr. Fidelov, there is a limit. There is a limit. There is a way of preparation. There is a way of exit. Very different from how a person who does autonomy or who practices autonomy does. With if you see, like for Dr. Fidelov, when you talk about medical dry fast, you have to go up to 3 phases of it. If you have a very complex issue, you're going to go for 3 different types of fasting. And this will take you 9 days the first time, then another one, maybe 11 days, and the last one again, another 9 days. So you have breaks in between the 2 fasts or the 3 fasts. Between a fast, one fast to another, there's a little break there where you just take or eat strictly vegetarian diet, and then you come back to the fast again. It should not take more than 2 months. Then you are back into the fast. Mm-hmm. But then if you look at autonomy, this is quite different this way. Some people live very long without food for sometimes somebody can take even 3 months just going without food. Others can take even 6. You have a case of Goa there has gone a full year sometimes without eating anything. And then you see with the dry fast, this is the one for healing or for cure. Your target is to cure yourself. There are some other practices that you add. You can add the massages, you walk the 10 kilometers daily, you do cupping, you do spinal massages, all those things in a way to help the body bring the healing, to awaken the mechanism of healing in your body as you are fasting. Because at that time you are at rest and you are doing, you are allowing your body to heal itself. But the target remains, even with the food that you're eating after the fast, is for healing. That's why you are given a strict vegetarian diet. But then autonomy, it's not even about living without food for 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Sometimes some people live without, they just eat. But then you find in a week, somebody has eaten twice. The rest of the days is not eating. And it's not measuring. With autonomy, there's nothing like I'm measuring when I'm going to eat. No. The consumption comes only at a time of, I can say, your intuition. You rely on so much on your intuition, your inner self. And you don't want to be bound with anything. There's nothing that becomes like your, what binds you. You are a free person who can eat the time you want, can stop to eat any time. That is autonomy. Can also stay long without food, without any. With autonomy, there's nothing like law. There's no law. You are free from law. So that's what happens with autonomy. And what else? You see, with the dry fast, you struggle with sleep, insomnia. With autonomy, you do sleep deprivation. It is actually the joy for you to stay awake. But with dry fast, you are supposed to do some relaxation techniques. You are supposed to do some things to help you bring sleep, because at that time you have insomnia, which is obvious. It has to come when you are not drinking and eating. And then this is what we have been learning all along. These are the things that we have been finding and searching from here and there, and we have found from people. But what you have realized also is that if you look, these practices, these are ancient practices. How the other people have been doing it, especially like for me, I can just use the Bible, and I also use our traditions here in Africa, because we have. Let me start with our traditions in Africa. There's a time in our ancestors, during the times of our ancestors, there were times that we had what we call a period of drought, a period where there's no rain, and this is happening yearly. It's seasonal. There will be times that there will be prolonged time without rain, and people will still survive. But then there will be minimal of what to eat. So you find that people eat sometimes one meal a day, and that meal is just to be eaten very little of it, because there's little that we have. There's that time, there's not much, there's no harvest, there's nothing. People are just eating to survive. This is type of fasting. As a season that will take sometimes even 3 months, or going to allow 4. Sometimes it will prolong that if it's too long, maybe 4th one. But most of the time, it's a period of about 3 months. And this is entire community. This is not just one person. You don't find anywhere. There's no abundance anywhere, no harvest anywhere. And when the rain comes with a lot of, it's a tradition here, they call the rain the mother of food. When the rain comes with a lot of things. There will be vegetables available, there will be fish available, there will be anything that people want to eat that they'll find available. Things just come. Even those who are hunting, they find it easier. That is in the tradition that we had here in the olden days. Unlike today, where we can store our food easily, we can buy processed things, you can find things in your supermarket. So that's now the change. We are not the same as I'm not the same as my great grandfather, the 4th one or the 5th one. Quite different. There's a big difference between how we eat and how they were eating during those days. But then we can also come to the Bible one, where you see, and I wanted to explain something about the fasting of Moses, where he did 40 days 2 times. Like I can say 80 days. Moses did about 80 days, he did 80 days, but not in a row. There was a break between the first one and the second one. And then he went back to do that, the last one. That was the second phase of the fast. So you ask yourself, how comes? Because some people try to do this and they don't succeed. How come this one guy could do this long, prolonged fast that much? And you have answers. You have answers in, if you follow carefully, you find that even before he did the 40 days, the first one, there was like a pre-fast. If you check, I think I will have to share those texts. They're there, the scriptures. You find that it was like a 6 days preparation before the real fast. And it was a fast itself to prepare for the longer fast. The first fast that Moses did, for me, I counted those days. They were not like exactly 40. They were 40 plus. It should be 47 or something around that number. I have been tying autonomy to this kind of a fast, Elijah fast in the Bible, where Elijah walks for 40 days and night after eating some food from heaven. He eats, this is in the 1 Kings, I think, chapter 19. He eats something like a cake from heaven, an angel feeds him, and then he now walks 40 days and 40 nights without drinking, without eating, to Mount Horeb. It is actually what autonomy is for me. That's where I can find it in the scripture, where you find the person walking as is not eating. And you see, if you look at fasting, the medical fast, like the Dr. Flo, they have discovered, you realize that they emphasize movement, a lot of movement during the fast, which is very opposite. So many people, by the way, have got into this dry fasting community, but they don't know about this. They're actually going the wrong way, where they want to do like a person who's doing a water fast. You want to be calm in a corner, you don't want to talk much, you don't want to walk up and down. It is actually opposite with the dry fast. You're supposed to be super active without doing strenuous things that are going to be too much for your body. You are supposed to just be doing things in a normal way, but you are not supposed to be idling. You're supposed to be moving. I was with Anastasia. That was a great blessing to learn from her. Sitting with her the time I was doing the interview with her, she walked in the room I had rented and was there like that, walking like that. Because she was like, "Am I free to walk here?" Yes, 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 get in. But I did the interview outside, outside the pavement. But for her, anytime I was like preparing myself, doing what, she's walking. And the walk is not as in rushing. Just you can't even hear the footsteps. And she says, I had to ask so many questions. Why? Why would you be like walking like this? You don't want to sit in one place. You walk like that. Her answer was stagnant energy. That if she sits in one place for a long time, she gets a stagnant energy, which means now this will be draining her, will be causing her to feel like dizzy, to feel like, and that's why she doesn't even want phones. She tells me this is the electronics. These are natural. She calls them unnatural. So there is one pattern. Like I've told you, medical reference is borrowing from Autonomy or from the Bible, where you find Elijah walking entire time. Elijah walked for 40 days and nights. Any fast that is done, especially dry fast, and even if somebody wants to try Autonomy, with idling, it's not going to work. It only works when you are active. And the best way to do it is walk. Okay, we have introducing so many other things. Like I was again with us, Anastasia, she was talking about dancing, the acrobatics, all those things that Africans we have here. Dances at night. And, sometimes that you become super active at night. Sometimes in Africa, that is not a good thing. They'll accuse you to be a witch. If they find you too active at night, it's not something that they're going to take easily. For you, where are you walking at night and people are sleeping? Yeah. So, for Anastasia, she's there at the beach, just walking there entire night. If you'll sit down for some few minutes, maybe just 1 minute, maybe 15 minutes. And that 15 minutes, if something happens, it's like doors like this, like a blink of an eye, and then you keep walking. So when you want this kind of a lifestyle, it's a nice lifestyle anyway. Even me, I decided to be fully autonomous. But for me, like personally, I feel I should have breaks. This is what I've been saying since the time I learned about autonomy, that there should be some kind of a break sometimes, like the patterns of the Bible. I really like to use the Holy Scriptures, where there was a time for fast and there's a time to relax. There was a time to do a 40-day fast for Jesus Christ, and there's a time he did rest and eat with people. Even Elijah, after the 40 days where he met God in Mount Horeb, God came like a wind. You didn't see God there. There was also the earthquake, and then there was fire. And then after that, there was a still small voice. This is why I value listening to our inner heart. All these things, by the way, when we have aligned ourselves to our intuition and our within, the voice that comes from within. You don't have to get so many teachings from outside. That's why God has been teaching us and telling us, you will throw all books. You don't need any book to read. Autonomy itself is fullness. You are complete with all the information. Because if you are able to detect that somebody is going to come, like the other day, she was giving us an example of a person who she is able to prepare cakes too, and she knew the gender. This is for a boy, this is for a girl, without somebody informing her. Anastasia was telling us the other time when she was in Russia, she was feeling like, I don't need money. This is the good reason why I don't need money. When I want to go somewhere, I just present myself, maybe by the road, maybe by some stage, and then somebody will just offer and take me to where I want to go. I don't need like beg here, beg there. So this is the goodness of autonomy. The only problem it has, if you are not careful, you will totally disconnect with humanity. It is a very bad thing if you disconnect with humanity and you want to be in nature. Because how will we help them? How will we help these people who are sick? How will we help these people who have no idea that they have solution in their own hands if they do the right thing. By the way, like there's somebody in the group now, and she's been doing a lot of shorter fasts, sometimes reaching 9. I think the maximum she's reached is 9, about 8 days, 9 days. And she's been doing so many of them between the breaks, maybe 2 days or 3, which according to the medical fast, that is wrong. According to Kafir, that brings body exhaustion. But according to autonomy, you do as free as you want, as free as your body allows you. You are free. So this lady has reached a point where she's feeling, I don't need a job. And I'm like, no, don't go that way. I feel like I just need to sit somewhere in the bush with the trees, in the forest, somewhere. I'm too much connected with nature. I don't feel like I need any more phones. I feel like I need, that feeling is there. Even with the dry fast, when you get so deep with the dry fast, you come very natural. Everything that has been invented becomes meaningless. You don't see the meaning of any invention of man, and you feel these things, actually you see them the other way. You see them as a problem. You don't see them as a solution to a problem, because most of these inventions were made to solve a problem, like transportation. Now you don't want to be on in those whatever means of transport. You want to walk. When you're walking 10 kilometers, you're not going to use anything invented by man. And this is your health. This is you living your life. So it's more of we are one family. Those people are in a dry fast. Those people are in autonomy. We are one family. The only difference is that one seems to be like the extreme of the other. Dry fast is like a baby for autonomy. But when you get in deep into the autonomy, like people who are in pranic lifestyle and all that, by the way, pranic lifestyle, the breatharianism and autonomy, that is one and the same thing. I don't see a big difference, because the only difference comes in with where we invite things in like meditation, things like the idea of living in prana, some people talks about the energy of the sun. You have to use the energy of the sun, all that. But for autonomy, you see all those things, the whole idea is you have already been created with them. We don't need more anything from outside. They are already within you. That is the idea of autonomy. So we don't take so much from outside, apart from air that we have to breathe. So that's the whole idea. I don't know if people have what they want to discuss. Now, I've been talking. Say something if you have something in your mind, that in your heart, that you feel like you want to flow with. I'm actually giving from my heart. When I'm talking, I'm talking from my heart. I'm not reading from anywhere. I'm just telling you what I've learned, what I've experienced also with my own self. As for me, I can say I have the idea of autonomy, but I'm not yet autonomous person. I have also got into practice that is extreme dry fast. I've just gotten to a point where I can fast the time I want and the time I feel, not controlled. Like you have to do this up to this amount of time, like that. So I'm somewhere in between. Actually, where I am, I can call transition. I'm at a transition point, and I'm enjoying a lot. The other time I was talking to Banary, and I was telling him, for me, sleep is very important. And it comes, especially the time I'm in those dry days, I find myself having lucid dreams. Those clear, very clear. And they are specific, they are for messages. I see things as clear as crystal, as day. There's nothing you can hide from me. There's a very personal thing that I would have shared here, but I don't think it's too personal. I don't know how I'm going to share it. But I was able to get some information with a person very close to me that this person has been hiding for some time, just by those clear dreams, which I also hear. Even a voice talks to me, telling me, and I know that is the voice of the Holy Spirit. He tells me, this one is fasting is a tool for me that helps me have now what gets me into the spirit. You know, spirit doesn't eat, spirit doesn't drink, spirit does not have these material things we have. Spirit does not need a car. This is the next thing I wanted to talk about. If you are so deep into this, we want to become the spiritual people we want to be. We're supposed to be pursuing something better, higher, where you will be able to even leave alone walking. You'll be able to be in one place and go to another place without any transportation. Yeah, this is possible. It's there. I can give example of one in the Bible. There was a person called Philip. who was carried from one point to another without using any chariot, without using anything. So you can be in a place very far physically, live alone by dream. You know, there's a point where I always see myself, I can find myself in a dream in a place right there. But now those people there can't see me. But this one is a place where you can be transported and be the other side. You see, those who are in dry fast for some time, they tell you there's something called telepathy. This is not from anyone, whether this a person is believer or not. Reading somebody else's mind is very easy. When you are both in a fasting and in a one environment, you find that you'll be able to detect what is in the other person's mind or heart, and even tell. And sometimes you think the same thoughts. Let's say you are fasting the same time in a close place with 4 or 5 people, and then an idea comes to you. You want to say it. The other person is already thinking it. The other person, it's like, how do you call that? Synchrony or what? Where you are almost in oneness in everything. So this should also happen with us, even online. Those people who are doing this thing faithfully, those who are doing these things faithfully, should be able to be happening even with us here as we are talking online, because we are connecting now. We are really connecting now. So this will help you a lot. There's also a brother who was talking to us about also your desires. You find that you find answers as long as you think positive thing and you see it. It is very normal. It always happens to me. I sit in a place and I'm very keen, like I can sit in a position somewhere in a close place, like in a house, and I'm very keen connected to my inner self. Not talking, not doing what, just calm. 2 minutes before a person appears, I'll call that person by the name. I'll be able to tell the person who is coming. And when I'm so deep in the fast, this happens without the fasting. But when I'm deep in the fast, I'll even know why the person is coming. When I'm totally, now there's nothing like, so when you have a dense body, you have the problem of getting these signals from the spirit world. So you find, or your inner self. So you find that I get half information. I know the person is coming, but I don't know why he's coming. But if I'm on the dry days, I'll be able to know even why the person is coming, why the person is appearing. I hope I'm trying to share the best with myself, the things I've been experiencing. The things I've been experiencing. Now, let me tell you something else. I think today I'm going to go a little deeper. Before I started this thing, I had done some fastings in the cave. There's a cave I always share with you people. Here, sometimes I go there. I had done some fast in the cave. I'd done some before the cave and then after the cave. And then a strong message came again, like that lucid dream with the voice. You are going to cause impact in the entire world and mark this date. Within the time I was being told, it was to take 2 years. I had to write it down, and even the date and the October of which year, I have them in my diary records. But I was I had no idea how this thing is going to come. I had no even idea, and even how much those dollars are going to be. The things that I always tell people, this thing is not as the same as my initiate. It's like I started it. No, it came from the spiritual world, and I was instructed and given specific amount of dollars that I'll be receiving. Today I don't know if I should say it from people that they're going to be sending. They're going to be sending, like what we are trying to do, support us, do donation, help us with the translations, help us with paying Zoom, help us with what. It was clear. I had not yet no idea of what I was doing. Though I had written a book on dry fast, because I had passion so much on dry fast, and I'd done so many. There's a time I did from the month of August through to December, just fasting with little breaks there. So at that time, I felt I loved so much fasting, and I decided, no, let me write a book. So I had to write a book. So what I'm trying to say, all these things, it's easier to do this with connection with the spiritual world. It's very easier if you are very connected with the inner self. is easier if this is the purpose, because this is now the reason why autonomy is stronger than just drive fast or medical drive fast. Medical drive fast just limits you to, okay, healing. After you've gotten your healing, just maintain it, maintain your health. But with autonomy, no, we are going beyond our health. People come into autonomy like Svetlana, we said, she came because of asthma that was so chronic and she was left to die. Arthritis for this lady called Anastasia, Goa, overweight. They came because of that reason, but then found something bigger than just healing, and then you go. You find that your life is totally changed, your energy totally changed, you have revelations totally changed, your spiritual eyesight opened, your hearing opened, your everything about you is just totally something different. And when you get into this state, you don't want to come back. You don't want to come back. You don't want to come back to flesh again, to eating again. And this is what we should be telling all Christians around the world. How to overcome flesh, how to finish the flesh, to put it down. The easiest way is this autonomy, freedom. Freedom from everything. Freedom from media, freedom from control, freedom from the system, freedom from food, freedom from all those things. But you don't do it beyond what you can at a time. Do what you can, do what your mind has accepted, do what you feel you have accepted as the truth. Yep. Thank you so much. I've really tried to share all the best I have. So we can discuss, you can talk. I don't know if Balabi wants to say something. Yeah.
Are you in a dry fasted state at the moment?
Today, I have done some consumption today. So I'm not in a dry fast state now.
Oh, really? Because I was thinking maybe you were, because you're so lucid in your speaking and you're able to speak for such a long time and with clarity, you know.
Because of just from a fast just a few days ago, and I think that's what it's like, taking the benefits from it. Like, okay. This is now, this is a result of that.
Yeah, because you're sort of running rings around me in terms of you know, being able to keep going. Yeah. I was thinking about autonomy is a lifestyle, isn't it? It's a permanent lifestyle, rather than a healing project. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I had a run-in with somebody who I admire. I won't mention any names because it doesn't matter, but this particular individual has been doing watermelon only for many days. And he's making some very good progress with it. And I took it upon myself to message him and to suggest to him, because a lot of people were asking him, well, what are you going to do when the watermelon season finishes? And he was saying, well, I might move on to grapes, you know. And I was thinking to myself, well, what you're doing at this watermelon only is a fantastic preparation, really, unbeknown to himself, for going autonomous. And so I took it upon myself to suggest to him that not only do we not need protein, do we not need meat, and we can live on monofruiting, but not only that, but the reality is that we don't actually need anything. And he was quite, I don't know, maybe he was offended, because I find myself in the awkward situation whereby I've watched a lot of videos about autonomy. I'm familiar with Anastasia, Svetlana, Goa, and all their stuff. Well, a lot of it anyway. And I'm more and more convinced of the reality of it, and the fact that it's not some peculiar thing. It's well within the grasp of the human being. Anybody can do it. You know, it's not some magical ability. It's the heritage of all of us. And what it actually, my understanding of it is, it removes the blockages, because we're filled full of blockages, and consequently our highest functioning is curbed and blocked, you know. But when we fast, it opens up these blocked avenues, and then, as you say, you're you're then open to abilities such as telepathy and that kind of thing, you know. But they're not out of the ordinary. They're perfectly normal in reality. It's just that we're all so dumbed down through eating, you know. Anyway, there's some food for thought. But yeah, so anyway, what I was going to say was I'm in the perplexing situation where I know all about autonomy and I'm fully convinced of it, and yet I haven't managed to get fully autonomous yet myself. I'm working towards it, you know. And this chap was saying to me, well, you know, you're recommending all this, but you're not doing it, you know, which was a little bit perplexing. But at least we know it's possible because we see people doing it, and you just aspire to it and do what you can to get towards it, isn't it, really? I mean, I've had to slow down a little bit and take a step back because I was making quite a lot of progress in dry fasting. But more recently, what I've been doing is trying to get to a point where I'm at least 100% fruit, because I think once you've managed to get to that state, then it's easier to go forward with dry fasting, I think. Anyway, that's enough from me for the moment.
Yeah. Thank you. It's an open discussion. Can talk about your experience, where you are in your journey. So it's open. It's open, please. Anyone else who wants to talk? Maybe you have mic on. Personally, where you have reached, yeah, you can talk. Laurie.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say because I just jumped on and I missed the whole talk. I don't know how long you've been talking for. And is this subject on dry fasting or water fasting, or what's the?
Yeah, both. We are doing more of a comparison between autonomy and dry fast. That's
what do you mean by, what is autonomy? What does that mean?
Autonomy is more advanced way of doing a fast, dry fast. It's more a little advanced. Like somebody will say that's extreme fasting. This is a person who fasts at the time they feel like they're not under control. They're not under any kind of what we call a timetable. You just fast as your intuition tells you, as you're guided by yourself. I don't know if you
that's
get.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's kind of what I do.
Exactly. So that you're already autonomous then.
Yeah, exactly.
Because with the medical dry fast, there is some regulations. There's some strict rules. There's some kind of things that, like, for you to get your healing, you have to reach the second acidosis crisis, which happens in day 9, from day 9 going to 11. And then again, you are not supposed to go past 11 days. And when you have your breaks between the fast, you're supposed to have your strict vegetarian diet. And the fast should not take, the break should not take 2 months before that. So with autonomy, this thing is not there. It is just lifted. You are free.
Well, are we talking about being breatharian, like living on prana, or we're not talking about that?
Yep. So that's exactly what we are comparing. But now we are more on just autonomy, because autonomy has borrowed from breatharian and pranic living. But the whole idea of autonomy is total freedom without any laws. And then you are complete the way you are. You don't need anything else from outside. Because, you know, if you talk about like pranic, there's also still idea of those meditations. There's always ideas of sun, where you are supposed to do sunbathing or gazing or things like that. With autonomy, those things are not existing. You are complete the way you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's what I've been searching my whole life, and I knew it, that we don't need anything outside of ourselves, and we're complete, and we're just with the way. It's amazing, and it's amazing. Like, I know last week or Brahma or what's his name that was on, and yeah, the only thing that I've been hearing with different people speaking, and I wonder if you can speak about it, there's a point where you're chronic living and you don't, lose any more weight, because a lot of people are having a problem of getting too thin. They're worried about getting so thin. And I have the opposite problem. I want to lose weight. I don't want to not lose weight. And I've been hearing from different, like even Nicholas, and they talk about like, that you're not going to lose weight. Like you're trying not to lose weight. I don't know if you could speak about that, but I'm just don't
I
understand.
get.
Like there's a breatharian lady. She's Russian, and she is overweight, quite overweight, and she's breatharian supposedly. I don't know, how does that work? Like, is that a possible thing that you could actually be breatharian and be overweight?
No, I'm not sure about this specific case you're talking about, but we have interviewed Goa here, and Goa was 250 kgs. 250 kgs. I don't know how many that is pounds. And when she got into autonomy, her weight reduced, not drastically, gradually until it reached the optimum. I think 67. Yeah. So at 67, she's not increasing or reducing. And if anything happens, maybe only with 2 kgs, then it comes back. Either reduce or increase with 2 kgs, then she maintains that 67. So it can go to 69, sometimes 65, around that. That's why her weight has been for some good time now. But the problem of being overweight is gone. It's gone. But
So
sorry.
No, go ahead.
If you are only the reason for your this lifestyle is to lose weight, there is a way to lose it. Okay.
No, no, it's not the only reason, but I just want to be healthy and be at the weight that I should be. But when you do autonomy, you're saying autonomy. I'm trying to still wrap around my head. You're saying that you're living on prana, but you're very free to do whatever you want, like, or you don't need to meditate. You don't need to do the energy work. You don't need, like Nicholas says too, we're breatharians. We don't have to do anything. Like we just are. We don't have to do any type of exercise or meditation to get there. But then other people will say that they do all these breathing exercises and meditation. So I guess
all these things depends with your teacher or where you are getting it from. Because from autonomy, that's where I learned. I didn't have so much information about pranic lifestyle. I've come to know about breatharianism when I've really known so much about autonomy, and I realized that these things are close to each other. The whole idea is from where pranic lifestyle came from. There was also meditation. Which is okay. Well, a lot to calm the body, to make sure that you are in a state that you are at peace. But then with autonomy, the whole thing is you don't want anything from outside.
Yeah.
Because you're already complete. And the activities that you do are within your range, not some things that you are trying to invent. Like just a simple light walk, a simple thing like walking, swimming. These are things that you just do to make sure that you are active. The whole thing is that you are supposed to be
so good
physically active.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear, because that's my lifestyle. And I tried meditations, many meditations, and Qigong and Tai Chi and all these things because I went on like 4 or 5 retreats on breatharianism. Like I went on all these retreats, and most of them do breathing or energy exercise or meditations, like a lot of that they do. And for years I tried to do these things, and I don't feel like I need to or want to most of the time. So are you saying that the people...
Could I interject?
Yeah, yes. Sure.
I've had a lot of thoughts recently about the difference between breatharianism and autonomy. And I've come to the conclusion that the whole thing about autonomy is, to my mind, it's about detox. It's not about taking on anything from outside in terms of any needs. We haven't got any needs. And my understanding is that all we actually need, if it's the correct word to use, is the exhale. So we're not taking stuff in, we're offloading stuff, because we're in a polluted environment, and the body is constantly taking in poisons. But the important thing is that it vents those poisons. So the exhale is the important thing. So my understanding of the difference between breatharianism is breatharianism was where you need to take in air because you get something from the air, whereas with autonomy, we're saying that air is taken in order to fill the lungs to be able to exhale, to get stuff out of the system. So apropos of that, the point being that we don't need anything, and we're sort of like self-generating dynamos, self-sustaining dynamos. That's my understanding.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So where do we get more information about this autonomy? Is there like something that, is there any type of course or something that we're looking at that we're going to learn more about it? Or
yeah, we have our what we call the channel has some videos in our breakfast channel. We have some videos about autonomy, and we have even, I think I can share here the playlist from there. Though there are some that were like seminars that were done, like what we call an online retreat that were done with Svetlana. Those ones are closed because of the participants, and good reasons for her. She didn't want this ones to be like live the way we are doing these ones. So they were done.
Wait, is there some retreat we could go on for this?
No, it is not there. But we have a lot of information from the channel. So I'll share with us here what you can get from this group, from the channel that are free. Then the one for Svetlana, there's some amount that is paid to get all that information from her. Let me get
Did you say
Atlantis?
Atlantis? Did you say Atlantis, or what? Who are you talking about?
So there's an autonomous person called Svetlana Lavrova. She's done a lot of online retreats. We have about, I think, 5 of them differently, and some of them were taking 7 days. Some were taking 4 days. They are unlisted. They are enlisted in our group. But this one is free, so you can just take time with this playlist. I've just shared it in the chat there. You can take time with those ones. You get so much information about their own experiences. We have about 3 of them. And then there's also this guy. I wanted to talk about his lifestyle of fasting, because I look at him, this person called Satmaga. The way I look at how he does his fastings, this guy is more of an autonomous person. He also has, he does yearly fasting. For him, during that time of Lent, I think about March, April there, he'll do a fast that will take him 40 days or sometimes even 50 days, direct, dry fast. But of late, about the last 2 years, because we are following him, we are with him. Sometimes we even bring him in our channel during that time of his fast. He had a problem. I think he was not able to reach the 40 days or the 50 that he had reached previously. He was going to about there's a time he did 17, another one he did 30. This last 2 years, and then continued with the water fast. But he said something happens to him when he gets into this fasting, very prolonged, and because of the war that was happening in Russia. I think that was the very first time the war started. He felt that in the spiritual space, there's a lot of sadness, a lot of chaos. Because these things, when you get into spirit, you'll be able to detect what is up here, and even within. The within connects with the out. So he would not do very prolonged one. He did up to 17 the first time. Then the last year, this year is the one he did 30 days. He did a 30 days fast. His way of doing fasting, for him, is more of the one that with the one that does with the break, the one that I preferred, the way I was talking to you about, I was referencing the Bible, Elijah, Moses, what fast. That is his life, like his lifestyle, where he allows himself once a year to do that prolonged one. Then within a week, maybe he does 3 to 5 days. Sometimes in a month, about 10 days, 7-10 days. That's how he survived for entire time. And for him, he left normal life in the city. He's living in a bush somewhere. And this is what I was saying in the beginning, that this lifestyle, if you go so deep, you totally disconnect with the things that are in modern man, the things that modern man invented, civilization. And you feel like these things are opposite how people are seeing them. So you feel like you just want to be with nature. I saw one of my friends here who is also autonomous person. She's called Ivana. A bird coming and this is something happened to her this week. I think 2 days ago. Just a bird came, landed on her here, and she had to even take selfie with that bird. This is normal even for Satmaga. You find that when he's in the bush there, he says animals can just come. The wild animals, instead of running away from him, they come to him. He has become so close to nature that those animals don't see him as a threat. This is also depends with what some people always don't want to call this thing the way it is, but the vibration that is giving to the environment, or even to the that is emitting, is friendly. So if you reach this level, himself again, he talks about whatever he thinks. He's very careful about what he thinks. If he thinks about something, it happens. Whatever he crosses his mind manifests. So it's like when a thought like bringing something from the spirit world to physical, it has to pass through the mind. You just see, then it happens. And that's why it's very important what you think. You have to maintain positive thoughts, whether in dry days, whether in the fasting times or outside the fasting times. Maintain positivity, maintain positive thoughts, maintain positive energy. Think about these good things. I think there's somewhere a verse in the Bible that talks about think about these things that are trustworthy, things that are peaceful, things that are joy, that brings joy, things like that. Think about them. So meditation should be for us, the Bible way, good things, the things that encourages us. Exactly. Then you will see also manifestation in the real and the physical world. Somebody wants to make some contribution, please. It's open. Thank you, Laurie. Thank you, Laurie. I got you, and I am happy with the experience and how you have lived your life now. Someone else wants to talk something before we can wrap it up. You didn't want to stay here forever. If you have something that you want to add, you can just add it. And you see, the good thing with this life is that you will not be seeking for anything. You will not need any assistance from I don't know who, from where. No, you are in control.
So wait, are you there? Are you living that life now?
For me, I am in transition because no sickness. I don't live totally without food. I eat sometimes, but most of the time you find me on fasting, or we don't call it fasting now. We call it dry days, where you don't drink, you don't eat. So you don't want to make it look like it is something very big. No, it's just a natural way of living. So dry days is very normal, very normal. And actually, at the time you start to drink, you feel like, oh, I want to become dense. I'm actually feeling like condemning myself. Like, oh, again, I want to become very heavy. I'll not be able to hear the spirit very well. I'll not be able to flow the way. Because when you are in this kind of a state, good things just happen to you. Good things just happen to you, like that. You don't even demand things.
Yeah.
What you need, you get it. I want to give an example. Just a week, I think a week ago, I prepared myself, did my flashes, did all that, which is not really recommended sometimes. But when you stay for some time on consumption, it is wise, it always wisdom, you do the flashing. So after the flash, I got into the dry days. It was very good. It makes you even change in transition very easily to the spirit world.
What do you mean
fast.
by flush? What do you mean by flushes?
Sometimes you do the gut flush,
Salt water
call it
flush?
what? Salt flush.
The
We do
salt water flush?
Yeah, salt water flush. I use, most of the time I use either salt or sometimes I use castor oil. But this is after a little longer time in consumption. So after some time, I think it didn't take so long. I did this Tuesday. By the time we were on a Friday, somebody just sent me some $100 without asking. For my little needs here and there. I was even traveling at that time. What I mean is, you don't, the desires of your heart, whatever you feel like you need, it's just fulfilled without straining, without forcing, without, I don't know if it's making sense. And at that time, I'm not even thinking about, at that time, in these dry days, I'm not thinking on money or I want to get this and that, get that. I'm only thinking of connecting myself so well with the spirit world until I want to be as clear with the spirit is, to be able to hear, to be able to see, to be able to speak like a spirit-filled person, like a spirit being. So that is the real desire for me. I just want to be a very spiritual person at that time, and I'm losing contact with the flesh, with the material. When you are not eating, these things don't have value. TV, whatever thing you call it, electronics, they don't totally have value. When you're not eating, I don't know if you have experienced this, you totally disconnect with them without forcing. Sometimes you just have your phone there, it's not in idle mode, you don't care about it. Who has sent a message in the WhatsApp, who has said what in Instagram or Facebook, even news. So you look at how people live their lives and you're like, oh, I wish they knew how to become like this, how to know this. And you become very patient. Even if somebody is talking to you, you don't get impatient. You don't get irritated easily. You become very patient. This happens. But when I was beginning this kind of a lifestyle, because I was still having a lot of issues with emotions, my emotions are being healed. That time I would get agitated. I would get angry very fast. You say, do anything, I'm in a fast and like I'm rebuking a person. I'm like angry. But this time I've reached a point. That's why I'm telling you, I've reached a point where it's like I'm very close. I'm still calling myself in a transition mode. But I've reached a point where for you to make me angry, you have really tried. You have done all that you can do, 100%. For me to get annoyed, it is very, very, it's almost like rare. So because emotionally, I'm okay. Emotionally, I'm healed. The traumas that I had when I was being brought, when I was young, all those things have already left. No issues. And with that, I think this is very important. Can't get sick. When you have emotions here and there, negative one here, they are the ones that trigger or the things that bring diseases. You are very negative, you're full of this and that. So you find that we have been talking about this even with the issues with cancer, that you're supposed to be happy. If you want to live a healthy life, the first secret, leave alone the issues of eating, not eating, the first thing is your vibration. The first thing is can you rejoice always, as the Bible says, rejoice always from within. It has not to come. Okay, some people can try to fake, but if you are faking, it's fake. It's going to take 2 minutes. Somebody has slapped you, somebody has stepped on you, and the monster within you comes out. So you have to get that monster out by healing your emotions. 5 days dry fast is very good. Not once. You put them into like 5 continuous in a series as they follow each other very closely. You will heal your emotions. With the healing of your emotions, you have healed your health because you become happy, and with happiness, you attract only goodness and positive energy, and even people around you. This thing happens that what is within you affects the world around you. Like we get into a room, even if people are just sad and they're not talking, and your vibration just creates joy around there. Your presence emits solution to problems like that. And this is why we are living this life, so that we have a solution to the world with the total confusion, diseases, anger, families breaking, divorces everywhere. I don't know where. People live just in chaotic world, turbulence everywhere. This type of lifestyle is the one that is the solution to all these issues.
Yes. Sign me up.
Yep.
Sign me up.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. So I don't know if somebody else has something. I want to wrap it up.
I just wanted to say I find that very encouraging about because what I found with the dry fasts that I've done, I'm looking after my children by myself, and when I'm a few days into a dry fast, I become very, very hypersensitive, and they can press my buttons very easily, and I can lose my temper, and you know, it's no good. But it's encouraging to hear that eventually, with repeated dry fasts, that this hypersensitivity sort of turns into patience. So I'm quite heartened by that. So that, because one of the things that was holding me back from doing more extended dry fasts was that I didn't want to be an ogre with my children. But it seems to be the case that with persistence, that temperament will be reversed. So that's really encouraging.
Yeah, it does. Even that Satmaga talked about it. And like, if the world wants to know to control crime, that's how he brought it. If they really want to know how to control crime, this lifestyle should be taught to people. There will be no robbery. People will be like satisfied. I'm contented the way I am. You don't need someone else things. And then you are also calm. You don't like provoke other people. You wonder if you see people, these people have anger issues, and people have like, what is going on? And all those things by there are because of those carbs and sugar. Taking a lot of sugar and all these things. These are toxics that they want to get out from the system. And they're stuck, and they come out like the projection of anger and things, those evil things that we know. Exactly. So I'm so happy to introduce you to this lifestyle. And I'm here to help you. I've already sent you these free ones, but then there's one that if somebody needs, like those, if you're not in Svetlana's meetings, you can buy them. And we only buy just one package for all of them. We just get all of them like that. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming. If somebody has a question, you can ask before I call it off, because I think this time we have just taken.
Sorry, did you?
1 hour.
Yeah, did you put the info? I saw you put the YouTube channel for the free. Did you put the one that you could buy also? It's there also?
No, this one is just for. This is just for the free one. This is the free one. This is a playlist for autonomy. Here alone, if you just sit with your time and listen to them, it will be like getting a new program in your mind. Then if you now need the one that I'm talking about, the one for seminars that we did with Svetlana, I think I'll just give you my number down there. You can get me via WhatsApp.
Yeah, because I might be interested in getting that after.
Okay. Let me just write my number down here. So they can help you get, and then we also have a WhatsApp group just for autonomy. Nothing else we discuss in that group. So if you are not yet a member, you can still also join. So you can WhatsApp me through that number. That is +254 727 27 72 60. Just shared it in the group there. So thank you so much, everybody. Bye for now. Have a great time with your families.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Oh yeah, you're there. We already. I almost signed up. Yes, Vital.
Now, I just feel that this is on purpose. All this information, all this knowledge, all this wisdom is hidden for us. And on the contrary, they encourage us to consume and and we have to be in groups like that and learn from each other the truth, because you just don't get to. I mean, on the contrary, that they hide these things from you. You have to eat 3 meals a day, and it changes you. It does change you. We don't have to eat so much, because there are a lot of toxins. And ever since I started this lifestyle, well, first of all, I didn't even know about it. I just learned because I joined these groups. So I learned all this information, and it changes you. It makes you calmer. It's you're not so anxious. You're not so. Well, it heals you physically and emotionally, psychologically. So I just like to listen, and it's information, and it's an inspiration to learn all this thing, and you don't learn it anywhere except for in these groups. So it's a great thing we've got these groups, and we're learning.
Learning, and also giving our contribution. You're like, this is what I've done, this is how this is working for me, this is what I tried didn't work. That contribution that you're giving also is very important, because like when Eric started, you see, if you want to post something like for a video from somewhere, you say a personal message from it. You're like, I really learned this from this and this. So the whole thing here is not about theory. It's not about I read from where, I did from where. It's more about practice. What I've done, the results that I have with what I've practiced. You see, so that is it. And it's good for us to be always truthful with this information, because if you tame your eating, you are able to tame every other thing. If you are able to stop eating at the time you want, you feel like I'm not eating, and you don't eat. At the time you feel like, okay, I can take something. You are in control of everything. You're in control of your health. You're in control of your emotions. You're in control of whatever you call self-control. You have it, because this is the most difficult thing for man. Most difficult thing for
oh
man.
My gosh, this is so great. This is going to be recorded as usual, right? We can watch the recording after, because I missed your talk, so I'm sure I want to hear everything okay, great.
Yes, it's recorded. It's recorded.
One more thing to say, Frederick. Something that's dawned on me more very recently is that the necessity to keep in one's mind the very close relationship between eating and sleeping. And what I mean by that is, whenever I eat, I know I need to sleep. But when I do dry days, you're freed from sleep. You know that you don't need to sleep, and you can stop up all night without any real problems. So I think one of the appealing things about the autonomous lifestyle is that when you're doing dry days, you've got so much more time on your hands and in which to pursue interests and enthusiasms, to learn and to get more knowledge.
Yeah, it's true. Eating and all the preparations and all, shopping and cleaning and preparing and everything. And when you're dry fasting, then you've got the whole day. You've got so much time on your hands. Not like and you realize, like when you want to eat, then you have to prepare, and then the eating itself, and then cleaning and all. And you look at the time, it takes time. And all of a sudden, when you're not eating, you've got so much time on your hands. Like, just concentrate on what you like to. You don't have to take breaks or anything, right? Not go to the toilet, not nothing.
You have too much time that you don't even know how to use it. Yet, normally you feel like you don't have the time. You are even rushed. I have to do this so that my time for sleepers. I have to go early so that I wake early. With the dry fast, even the sleep itself is gone. You see that bed. sometimes when I do those dry days, you see the bed almost like an enemy. Like, I don't want to sleep. There's no sleep. If I go here, it's not going to come. So what do I do with this time? You have extra time to do and fulfill your dreams. If you have things that you want to do with your life, you want to write books, you want to, whatever you have that you want to do with your time and life, you fulfill it. And that's how I've been thinking. People who totally don't do this kind of a lifestyle, I always feel like it's like they miss the point and the reason for life. For me, that's how I feel. Because first of all, you're not able to listen to your inner self. The only true person that can only tell you the truth is your inner self.
People
Number
are
two, yes.
disconnected, detached. Yeah.
Yeah, they're detached. Then number two, you start to struggle with too many things, solving problems that you have brought through your mouth. Diseases like hypertension, you want to take drugs, you have worries of, I don't know, cancer is coming. I don't know, you are aging, you are so much worried about your face. You want to use some lotions to become younger and pay a lot of money. Anyway, we have the freedom. We have gotten one thing, I call this the gold. You have gotten gold. I don't use any lotion anyway. I don't use any lotion. I am at 40 and I don't use any lotion. If you look at the people who are my peers, they look they look 20 years older than me. Even my younger, the people who are coming behind me, those who are younger than me, some of them look older than me. So you have so many solutions that you solve with this kind of a lifestyle. I'm telling you the truth. You solve so many things. But I wanted to talk about meeting your purpose. You find that you have so much time, you're able to listen to your inner self, and you're able to do so much that you're given 24 hours, you have done things that people do for a full week. For you, in 24 hours, you have done things that people do for a full week. So you see, how you use this time is also important. Don't use it, you use it, anyway, don't use it with pressure. Use it as you are led by intuition, because you live at the moment. You live at the moment. You live in the present. Don't get to worry. You get to so many anxiety and all that. It's the best thing somebody can do for himself. This kind of a lifestyle. So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it also makes you sharper, more focused.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Brain
wise.
Yeah, also
and memory.
Also emotional detox. You all of a sudden manage to resolve all kinds of people have got all these physical and emotional scars they carry all their lives, and sort of they carry this baggage, and they're sort of bitter. Besides having cancer, I don't know, all these a stroke, they've had a stroke, they also have the bitter and frustrated, and, all these emotional baggage that they're carrying. I feel lighter, as if
lighter in all ways, lighter in your mind, lighter in your emotions, lighter in your body. Wow.
Yeah, like getting rid of toxins and baggage that you don't need, both physically and emotionally.
I think you get become very much more free from your past traumas as well, which is pretty much
from what did you
any past
from your past
traumas
traumas.
from them,
traumas, yeah.
They don't preoccupy you so much that you don't dwell on them as much. They tend to dissipate,
Yeah, and no emotional.
Yeah, I just went
baggage.
Yeah, that's what keeps us so. I realized just recently I was doing so well, and then my family, I don't have much family, and the little family that I have moved to Costa Rica, and then they sort of just left me behind and didn't call me, didn't return calls, didn't respond, and they were always better. I did a lot for my family, my sister and my niece, and then all of a sudden they're not in touch, and I got so sad about it. That was hard, because if we're autonomous, I guess you're saying we don't need other people to make us happy. We don't need our family. We don't need anybody. But I guess that's a tough thing, like not to have any family, and the family that you have is basically gone. It feels like they were dead because they just didn't respond, but that's where I think that's where I'm going to. That I had to go through all that and then still be okay. It's like a death, in a way, but when you have somebody die, and how do you deal with that? Because I already had, my parents were murdered when I was young, and I had a lot of trauma when I was young, and that's why I used food my whole life. I used food my whole life because of all this trauma, and then I literally never slept since I was 13 years old because I was sexually abused for 10 years from my stepfather. So I have insomnia my whole life. Like, that's why being a breatharian is so appealing, because I don't have to have so much sleep. literally I sleep like zero, like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and that's it. And I've lived like that my whole life. I feel like, wow, this is crazy. I've been able to be functional without sleep and with migraines for 40 years. And then I always used to dream. I used to say, I wish we could take a pill and not have to eat. I used to say that when I was younger because I had such a food disorder. You know, I just used food so much emotionally, I couldn't stop eating. And it basically almost killed me. I can't believe I'm still alive, honestly, because I feel like I could be dead now. But I'm still pretty damn good considering. If you see, you know, when I'm dancing and I'm doing things and I'm still so high energy, like it's crazy with no sleep. So now I just have to get the food thing because the food has been always tough to let go of, and I always felt like I don't need food. I always felt that from way back when. And now that I know it's possible, it's like so amazing. I still don't. Still been very hard for me, even after going to retreats and doing it. When I go there, it's great. I could dry fast, I could fast, but when I'm home with all the problems or the stress or the, you know, work and my husband cooking and, you know, all these things outside that tempt me to want to eat all the time. So
Wow.
yeah, I think
I know the first thing that will happen to you, you will heal from the trauma with this kind of lifestyle, and then your sleep will come back when you are eating. When you see, when you have totally gotten your emotional healing, then you'll become normal, and especially when you eat, you'll now feel that the effect that you have already gotten. But then also, when you become well emotionally, totally, you get your healing, you get your sleep back. Yes, when you're eating. When you're not eating, there's no sleep anyway. But also family. Family will just get back to you because you will have forgiven them. You'll only be emitting love. You'll only be emitting peace with them. You'll only be forgiving. Yeah. So you look more attractive when they see you have no grudge with them. You have no issues. You don't call them to complain to mama. You don't, and they don't get it from anywhere. They don't hear you talking about it behind their backs or anywhere. So there will be healing itself first. Then there will be emission that will attract, like it will be like magnets. And you know, sometimes some people don't totally heal, especially not you as the person who's doing the fast, but the family. Some get hurt so much that they don't want to forgive, all that. But all what happens is that God gives you a replacement. Family can't be replaced. I want you to get me very well. Family can't be replaced. But God gives you where you can express that love for those people who still be accepting it. So the first thing here, healing of emotions. Then when you get healing of emotions, you get now full of love and peace and all these, you start to express this one, you will attract the right people. Even the family members, you will have genuine love from specific ones. Others will heal a little slower. There's no issue. Don't worry about that. But you have to heal because your story, the way I've gotten it with that trauma, with that abuse, with all that, there's so much trauma in you. There's so much hurt. There's so much things that needs to
yes, and I don't know how to heal from it because I've been to so many things, spent tons of money just to try to get me for sleep, like so I could sleep, because that's been a very difficult life with no sleep, like this whole time. And then my emotions, you know, so much my emotions. How do I heal from the emotions? Just by fasting? And when you say fasting, when you always say fasting, are you mean just water fasting, juice fasting, dry fasting?
No. I will have to put in the program now. I will get into a program to help you with emotional healing, and it is total dry fast. It's not those ones can't heal emotions. I'm going to even teach you how this happens. Most of the things are stuck in our fat and water. They store this information. So that's why water fast or juicing or what else doesn't help. It's only dry fast that will dry that water that is having that information that is hiding that memory.
I've done
I've done. How long do you do your dry fast? Oh, you need to go more.
3.5 days. Yeah, I don't know how many days how many days you're talking about, and do you have to prepare for that?
Yeah, I will also take you to a preparation program. No, you have just to get this, and you'll do it very short time. and you get yourself out, and you'll be like, wow, I wish I knew this early.
Mhm.
So the least you'll do a fast for this emotional healing is a 5-day, and you don't do it with a long break. You'll do them with the shorter breaks. So I'm able to guide you on what to do. I think after this we'll have maybe a little talk on the program. Otherwise, you're going to get well. You know, when you are talking about breatharian programs, I was like, okay, maybe you have done even maybe sometimes 11 days of fasting. You have not yet reached the point of healing, but you're going to get that healing. Yeah, you're going to get that healing through the dry fast program that I'm talking about. This is going to be a little prolonged. Good. Yeah,
Also,
the least one would be 5 days, but you can do also 7. You're going to do even 9, but under guidance. I'll guide you on how to do it. Yes, Ravitel. Yes, Ravitel.
That also in these groups, I met coaches, different coaches, like not the regular psychologists, and they can really help with emotional processing and release, like Albina and Davana. They're experts on that. So it helps the combination. It's a combination of working on emotional traumas.
Release.
Well, Frederick, I'm so interested, Frederick, in what you're talking about. So we're going to just get in touch on afterwards, or get in touch, you're saying, or?
I'd like to just touch on something. Can I touch on something to do with emotional eating?
Yes.
I mean, it's very much about transition, what we're doing at the moment. We're aiming at autonomy, but it's a transition process. And so we've got dry days, and they're great. They're the ideal. That's what we want. But then we also have days where we're not dry and we are eating and drinking. And I think it's important to mention for myself anyway, that on those days, I find I function far better when I'm trying to have a decoy or a distraction from eating so-called food, which is not real food, the processed stuff, pizza, the comfort food, the stuff that you resort to when you're feeling emotional. And I think for myself, I'm finding if I can at least manage when I have cravings for such things as pizzas or whatever, if I can at least manage to say, no, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to eat fruit instead, I find that I do myself far less damage when I eat fruit, and particularly watery fruit like watermelon or cucumber or oranges, things like that. So I think it's important to make the distinction when it comes to non-dry days, that for myself, I find they're far more beneficial and efficient when I try to stick to fruit. I don't know if anybody else has found.
Yeah, that's you know, for 40 years I've been trying. I had migraines for 40 years, so I studied natural hygiene, and I went into raw vegan and being fruitarian and being, you know, just eating fruit or just eating raw foods, and I feel like it's very healing, and it healed when I did it, but I couldn't stay on it, because then every time I would take one bite of cooked food, then it'd be like an alcoholic. There I am, and I'm eating all the crap. And when I eat now, that's why I'd rather not eat. You know, I'm thinking of being liquidarian, because every time I want to eat French fries, or I want to eat something yummy tasting. Like, it just tastes yummy to me, and fruit doesn't always taste yummy. It's a very problem. Like, some days are good. You know, you could have good watermelon. Other days, watermelon just tastes bland. It doesn't. You don't have a good watermelon. I'm just saying, you know, different fruits. So it gets to me frustrating, and then I end up wanting to eat. The cooked food's always good. You know, you're gonna eat a ice cream or whatever you're gonna eat is gonna be good, and it's easy because it's fast and you just go get it. And because I'm so tired, I don't want to cook and make something. I never liked cooking, so I don't know. I just want to. My goal is to be like living on prana, or just living, you know, just be able to not have to have anything if I don't need it, or just some drink, maybe drinking something. And I love to do that because I feel great when in the past, I fasted on 40 days from water one time. I did 2 weeks. I did many different water fasts in the past, and even just the water fasting still was great for me, you know. I know I like the dry fasting too, but it's the eating that's the problem. And like you're saying, you feel better on the fruits, but I had a food disorder my whole life, so I was eating all this food, and again, emotionally, and now it's just like a habit, or just the taste. Like, my taste buds are so screwed up. Even if I fasted 40 days on water, a few days later I was eating pizza. Can you believe that? Like somebody came over and said, here, you know, like even after I thought my taste buds would change and I wouldn't want pizza anymore.
It's a strong
So
addiction.
it's a big addiction. It's so addicting. And now I'm trying every day I try, because I know I have the knowledge about what we're talking about here. It's like fantastic, but I just have to not, that when I get cravings and I'm tired, it's also because I don't sleep. So I get so tired that I have to eat something to get me going, to stimulate me, you know, coffee or sugar or something. And I've been a sugar addict my whole life. They say it's harder to get off sugar than heroin. But
Absolutely.
True.
but it's an all emotional, I think, like you're saying, like to heal the emotional stuff.
That's right.
You
It's more
heal
emotional than physical. All these cravings are emotional. It's not physical. It's just
yeah,
Wow.
because I feel like if I was, and again, this is needing something which I don't want to have, but I always wanted somebody in my life that I loved. My husband and I we're not the best marriage. And I always thought, oh, if I was living on Hawaii and I was on a beach and I was having this gorgeous, my soulmate with me, I wouldn't care about food at all. Like I won't even want to eat, like, you know, when you're in love and you don't care about food at all. I just want to be like that without anything, right? But I don't need a guy. I don't need anything. I just need me. And that's what this is about, right?
Yeah.
It's emotional. It's an emotional hug. It's security. It's comfort. It's emotional. It's an emotional issue, not physical. All these addictions. You have to heal yourself.
I think it's important also to realize that the things that we're addicted to are non-foods. You know, these things have been talking about. I mean, I find pizza, pastries, these kinds of things, that they're the last things to go, I find. And it's because we're actually physically addicted to these things, because that's how they're made to get us hooked. Whereas the thing about fruits is, when we combat that with eating fruits instead, you can't get addicted to fruit. You know, fruit detoxes you, whereas all these other foods that we're addicted to, they just poison us. So I just thought I'd mention about, you know, the importance of when we do have the eating days, which obviously we do have eating days from more often than not in the transition period. Then my goal personally is just to stick to fruit and stay away from anything else. That's my way forward anyway.
Yeah, that's the best way. And like I'm thinking now, I'm not hungry, but if somebody's giving me a veggie burger and fries, I would totally want that. But I don't want fruit now, so that I tell myself, well, Laura, you're not hungry. But a lot of times I'm just not hungry for fruit. If I could eat cooked food, then I feel like I'm hungry. So I'm trying to stay on raw foods. Honestly, I just like orange juice and some watermelon. That's what I've been trying to do the last few days. And but literally, I don't even want that much of it. Like that's why I can't. Like with the fruitarians and all that, they eat so much fruit. Like I can't eat more than one banana. They eat like 10 bananas, 20, 30, 40 bananas, you know. That's how they sustain. They feel like they have to sustain themselves. Me, I could eat one apple, one banana, one nectarine. If they're really good, maybe two. But I can't. I don't have any desire to eat so much fruit. Like some people, when you're a fruitarian, I don't know about you, I can't eat that much. You know, I don't want that much. But I feel like, yeah, I don't know. Is this my calling? I feel like, is this my calling not to have to eat? Like, I feel like it is, you know, even though they say you have to not have a food disorder to go into this. Like you should have, you know, settle your food disorder first. You can't just like, you know, go into this lifestyle with having a food disorder. And I don't know if I have a food disorder anymore. Because
everyone has food disorder.
Yeah.
We all have.
I mean, actually, in the context of autonomy, the point really is, I mean, I hate to say it, but really eating itself is a disorder. So, you know, in the mainstream, they talk about eating disorders. But one of the things that autonomy is saying really is that eating itself is a disorder, because what it actually does, it sets you in disarray. You know, when you're not consuming anything, you're in tranquility. But the moment you start to eat or drink anything, that's when the disorder starts.
And that's
it's
why
so
they call
true.
it. That's why they call it drug. They say the autonomous people call it the drug, the heaviest drug.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. It's so
and
true.
not just food. It's important to realize that it's not just food that's a drug either. It's liquid, it's solid and liquid. you know, but both are drugs, you know.
But if you're just doing liquids, it's much easier. It seems like you're not doing the food, the chewing. You don't feel like addicted when you're just doing liquids, you know. Pretty much for me, if I just do liquids, I don't feel so. I feel okay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I suppose the thing is you're presenting less blockage in your GI tract anyway.
It's saying that again.
I say you're presenting less blockage to your GI tract when you're consuming liquids as opposed to solids anyway, certainly.
Oh, yeah.
And
Do you guys believe in?
Sorry, a lot of the thing is as well. Another thing about eating and drinking is essentially the reason it's problematic is because you're obstructing the breathing, you know, the inhalation and the exhalation. That's
You are?
Yeah, it's pretty much what's problematic with consuming anything, is that when you put stuff into your GI tract, it makes breathing less efficient.
Wow. I mean, I always feel like I'm blocked especially when I eat,
Exactly.
certain foods. I can't breathe. My nose one's always blocked, but I thought most people don't have that. They breathe fine. I feel like it was just me. Like I'm always blocked. I mean, some people get blocked
blocks
out,
your breathing. Yeah, definitely.
No, it's true. It's true. It happens even to me.
And also, when you're dry fasted, you breathe far more clearly, don't you? After,
very deep.
2 days, your nasal breathing's very clear, and your sense of smell becomes acute. Everything.
Oh
becomes,
yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
that
Even
breathing,
just
that part
even
of
water
breathing,
fasting. Even when you water fast, you still have those results. I understand dry fasting, what you're saying, but you can't dry fast for like 40 days, like not right away, right? Yeah, you have to do. But that's interesting.
To develop the muscles, and that's why we are here to guide on that one, on that issue of how to develop the muscles as you're healing your emotions and all that. We'll be able to take you through that. So
Frederick, what are we going to do?
I'm going to. I hope you have taken my contact. I'm going to get you. You're going to contact me. Then I'm going to get you all you need to know on how to do the fasting and how to make the preparation. And then we'll also have to add you to these groups that we have that on dry fast, there's autonomy and there's transition autonomy, so that you get yourself support. But the main thing is I'll have to do some supervision for you to catch up. After you've done some good prolonged 1, 2 or 3, you'll be good to go now. You'll be good to do them yourself in a very independent way at your own time. And with those first 2, 3 fasts, our target will be healing of your emotions. And you'll get into that process within 2, 3 months. You should be very free, very totally free. Yep.
Oh wow. So I'm just putting my phone number on there because I don't know how to contact you with the WhatsApp. I'm not that good with these things, so I don't know if you could contact me. But that's my cell number, and I always wonder, is it the same number with WhatsApp? That's your normal phone number. That's my phone number, my cell number. I put there. I don't know if you could try to contact me and add me to your WhatsApp or something, because I have trouble sometimes doing that. I'm just worried if I can't do it.
I've taken your number. It's okay. This number is from is it a US number? UK? Where?
Yeah, US. I'm in LA.
Okay. So I'll have to add +1 there. So thank you, and thank you everybody who came to this meeting. We are going to have another one very soon. And I really like the positive spirit that was emitting from you, from your discussion, the openness. And bye for now.